The thrill of horror. Let's see the notice and note signpost of this unit. You will notice and note signposts that will give you clues about the author's purpose. Here are three key signposts to look for as you read this essay and other works of nonfiction. The first signpost is extreme or absolute language. Say your friend wants you to go see a movie, claiming it's the best sci-fi movie ever, and everyone is going to see it. Now, your friend may really think you will love the movie, but she may also simply be trying to convince you to go with her. Similarly, when the author uses extreme or absolute language, they usually have a purpose for doing so. Paying attention to extreme or absolute language can number one provide clues to author's purpose and basis. The next point to the main idea the author wants to convey. Finally, help you draw conclusions about the author's main points. Completeness, such as all, none, everyone, no one, always, never, totally. A phrase that expresses an uncompromising position, such as we must all agree or there is no way that, etc. So when you see these kinds of words or phrases, you have to pause and see whether the signpost is about extreme or absolute language. The next signpost is about quoted words. If you were writing a fiction story, you might use quotations to show the words your characters say. In nonfiction, writers often use quoted words to provide support for a point. Quoted words might be the conclusion of an excerpt or on a subject or the account of an eyewitness on an event. So when you come across quoted words, ask yourself why the words were quoted and why they help you understand about the topic. The third signpost, big questions. Have you ever listened to a friend tell a story and wondered if you had missed something? Sometimes people assume you know something or have background knowledge that you don't. Authors occasionally do the same thing. If you are reading a text and feel lost, stop and ask yourself, what does the author think I already know? Okay, when you feel that you missed something or you did not understand, you have to stop and think and try to know what the author thinks you already know. So you have to connect. This can help you clarify the point the author is making and determine what to look for as you continue to read. So, when you start to feel lost or confused while reading, pause and ask yourself one or more of these big questions. Like, what does the author think I already know? Or, what surprised me? What challenged, changed, or confirmed what I already knew? So you have to think and connect. So this was all about the three signposts, extreme or absolute language, quoted words, and big questions. Let's move to our lesson. Uh, we are going to read the lesson 2, The Telltale Heart. So let's get ready to read it. Get ready, analyze, and apply The Telltale Heart. It's a short story by Edgar Allan Poe. Essential question. Why do we sometimes like to feel frightened? Okay, so think about this. Why do we sometimes like to feel frightened? Genre element. Genre. Genre element. The genre of the story is short story. So the short story includes the basic elements of fiction like setting, character, plot, conflict, and theme. It centers on one particular moment or event in the main character's life. It can be read in one setting. Point of view. Point of view is method of narration used in a short story, novel, narrative, poem, or work of non-fiction. In a story told from the third person point of view, the narrator or the voice that tells the story is an outside observer. In a short in a story told from the first person point of view, the narrator is the character and uses the pronoun I, me, and we. So just as you believe everything everyone tells you, you can't always believe everything you learn from a first person narrative. An unreliable narrator is a narrator whose assessment of events cannot be trusted for some reason. He or she might be purposefully lying, mentally unstable, or too young or unsophisticated to fully understand events. To determine whether or not a narrator is reliable, consider his or her actions, attitudes, and statements, and then decide whether he or she is generally trustworthy. So, as you read the Telltale Heart, look for clues that tell you whether the narrator is reliable or unreliable. Analyze suspense. So, what is suspense? Suspense is the scene of growing tension, fear, and excitement felt by the reader. When a story is suspenseful, the reader becomes increasingly curious about what will happen next. Writers use different techniques to create suspense in fiction. Some of these are listed in the chart below. Fill in the chart with examples of these techniques as you read Tell a Tale Heart. Here is a chart where you can record the techniques and the examples for it. Technique like describing a character's anxiety or fear. So you can write the example from the story which we are going to read. The second technique you can write about is using vivid words to describe dramatic signs, words, or sounds, feelings. The examples you can note down. Repeating words, phrases, or characters' action. You can write the examples from the story in this chart. Next we have critical vocabulary. So here we have 8 words to remember. The first word is conceive as verb. The part of speech is verb, meaning when you conceive an idea, you think of it. So conceive means to uh, adapt an idea or to accept an idea. So conceive, verb, when you conceive an idea, you think of it. Number 2 is vex as verb, means if you vex someone, you annoy that person. So vex means to annoy. Number 3, stifle as verb, meaning if you stifle something, you smoother it. So stifle means to smoother, to make something smooth. Crevice, crevice as noun. A crevice is a narrow crack. So crevice is a narrow crack. It's a noun. Number 5, audacity as a noun, meaning audacity is shameless bearing or boldness. So audacity is boldness or daring. Number 6 is vehemently as an adjective. If you do something vehemently, you do it with intense emotions. So vehemently means with full or intense emotion. Number 7, derision as noun, meaning derision is jeering, laughter, or ridicule. So derision is jeering, laughter, or ridicule. Number 8, hypocritical. Hypocritical as an adjective. If someone is hypocritical, the person is false or deceptive. Now let's use the vocabulary words in the sentences which are given here. Number 1, expressing an unpopular opinion of often leads to what leads to derision. Number 2, it's difficult to dash that someone could be so cruel. So it's difficult to what? To conceive. Conceive means to think of it. Number three, my brother loves to dash me whenever he gets a chance. So vex. Vex means to annoy. Number four, an person says one thing and does another. So the answer is hypocritical, which means a false person. Number five, dash is a characteristics of people who take risks. So the answer is audacity. Audacity means braveness. Audacity, braveness. Number six, I wanted to shout out in fear, but I had to dash my reaction. So I had to stifle the reaction, smother the reaction. Number seven, the convict dash denied committing the crime. So the answer is vehemently, which means with the extreme emotions. Number eight, my keys fell into a deep dash while I was rock climbing. Crevice. Crevice is a narrow crack. So here we did all of these questions, and here we ended the introduction of our story. So the next week we will be reading the story. Thank you.